Hello buddy boyos, this is my response to Grotesque Subhuman's latest video. He made a new channel. As some of you know, he deleted his older channel and his Discord server. And in this new video he explained that he did it because he did not want to become e-famous. He did not want any fame, so he deleted his accounts. And I watched his latest videos, which I'm gonna link in the description below, where he talked about he was crying about Rowan because they had the fight, and that she helped him a lot in his life, and blah 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 blah. You know, he was crying and all that, and I just have to respond to that, because I think that we need to realize something here that is very important. I agree with what incels are saying. You know, I agree with the black pill, that it's over and all that. I agree with all of it. You know, I'm not in denial. However, I still think that there's something very important that we need to take into account. And that is the fact that we didn't choose any of this. You know, if you really think long and hard about it, all of these subhuman traits that we have, these were never our choices. You know, none of us even choose to even be born into this world. So I think you guys already know where this is going. You know, I already talked about this many times. But it just needs to be said, you know, because this is something that a lot of people in the black pill community, incel community, they often ignore, or they're just sort of unaware of this. But if you think long and hard enough, you will come to the conclusion that the position that we are finding ourselves in is not our fault, because all of our attributes that we have, we didn't even choose to begin with. Okay? We were born with a different set of attributes, like, you know, short height, small frame, or low IQ, or whatever. It doesn't matter. None of these attributes we had. None of this we ever chose. You know, our brains did not even exist before we existed, so there couldn't be any choice in that process. You know, all of us have been forced into this, which means, of course, that none of this has been our fault. But of course, this doesn't hold up in the current system that we live in, because the system is functioning because of the belief that we had any control over these things that happen to us. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You know, as far as the empirical sciences have shown us, we are nothing but biomechanical robots, and we're always taking impression from the environment and reacting according to epigenetic factors. And I already know where this is going. You know, people are going to accuse me of being an atheist, and I personally don't label myself as an atheist, but whatever. But it just makes too much sense, you know. So, Grotesque, please Stop blaming yourself. Stop crying over this. You know, none of this was ever your choice. You know, this has been your destiny. Okay? And I've been thinking long and hard about this, the question about hard determinism and free will. And unfortunately, the conclusion that I come to is that this is a deterministic reality, and we have no control over the things that are happening, unfortunately. And you know, this is very dark stuff, but like, what do you want me to say? You know, I think it's monstrous. I think it's a monstrous idea if we, especially we as true selves, still hold on to the idea that we had any control of this, because that is just so how do you say it? It's just so irrational. It's so masochistic, you know. It's if you think that you had any control over this, I mean, you're gonna go insane. I think you're gonna go insane, because if you still think that you're somehow free, that you're somehow separate from the laws of physics, it's just gonna you're gonna go insane, I think, if you still hold on to that belief, because that means you're still gonna keep trying and trying and trying and failing. And you're just not gonna have any rest, you know. So I think that we as true selves, especially as true selves, we should accept the fact that we don't have any control, because really we don't. And it's a very dark realization that our lives would have been so much different if only we had more symmetrical faces and all that. And yeah, it's a very dark realization, but you know, that's how this cause and effect reality works. You know, it is like that. You know, if Chads were born with with short height and ugly faces, then they wouldn't be Chad, would they? You know, we think that all of these things are sort of manifestations of conscious efforts, but they're not. You know, you're either born with these attributes or not. You're either born with the attributes that are gonna give you a good life, a good social life, or you're born with attributes that are gonna give you bad experiences in social lives. And unfortunately, grotesque, you know, we were born with subhuman genes. It's as simple as that. You know, this has been our destiny. You know, and this inevitably has to lead you to the realization that, unfortunately, love, the very concept of love, it's just a concept. It doesn't really exist, because you know, if love, if the quality of your life and how much you're gonna be loved in your life is dependent on a couple of millimeters of bone and the quality of your brain, then you will come to the very harsh realization that love doesn't exist. It's as simple as that, you know. So I think that you should abandon that idea of love. You know, please abandon the idea that Rowan loves you. She doesn't love you, man. Okay. I don't know how you possibly could still believe in the concept of love as an incel, especially as a true soul, like you and me. Think about it rationally, man. Love doesn't exist. You know, it's all based on biology. You know, Unfortunately, we are the lowest tier of men. That has been our destiny. Just fucking listen to me. Do I sound like a person that should reproduce? No, no, I fucking don't. And I honestly, consciously do not want to reproduce anyway, because I don't want to see this same experience be repeated over again. That just sounds too cruel, man. I don't want my kid to be bullied and mugged to death like I was. So that's why I'm just done with blaming the world. And I'm also done with blaming myself too. There is no blame in anything, really, because all of these processes have been just part of a myriad of complex. All of this is basically just we are the result of a very complex sort of cause and effect process, and this has been our destiny. It's as simple as that, and we cannot blame anyone. We cannot blame our parents. We cannot blame our society that has ostracized us, because they've been reacting to us in the only way that they could, instinctively reacting to us according to a set of genetic commands. And we cannot blame ourselves either, because we didn't even choose to be born in the first place, with all of these attributes that have hindered us from living good lives. So I guess what I'm trying to say with this grotesque is that life is existence is like a movie that you have, and as you know, we cannot consciously control the outcomes of movies. So, and even as I speak now, these words coming out of my mouth, they're coming out automatically. There's very little conscious thought into them, and the brain is basically just a machine that takes in impressions and converts them into usable, language. Systems. It's a very complex cause and effect machine, and basically the cells that we have, our self is just a concept of the brain. And yeah, this is very dark stuff, and I know that this video is boring and all that, but this is very dark stuff, and all I can say to you, Grotesque, is please stop with the simping. Please stop obsessing over Rowan. That toilet does not love you, okay? Toilets cannot love sub-5 men. It's as simple as that, okay? Sub-5 men, in my opinion, are, in the way that I see it, are men that are simply the lowest tier, both in looks and mental attributes. It's as simple as that. If only we had if only we were neurotypical, then maybe we would be close to sub-8 or something like that. But unfortunately, we're not. We're the lowest of the lowest in both mind and body. And not only will we not reproduce, we should not reproduce. So yeah, that's basically what I would say the 3 categories that you fall in as a man. You're either a slayer, a beta boxer, or a true cell, or hermit, or whatever you want to call it, a monk or whatever. And chats, slayers, they can either, good-looking men, they can either slay, beta box, or go monk mode. Beta boxers can either beta box or go monk mode, and sub-5 males can only go monk mode. It's as simple as that. That's the hierarchy that men fall into, in my opinion. And that's what I see in the world when I look at men. Yeah, they basically, these are the only three categories that men fall into, basically. That's what I see. And yeah, the lower you are in the rank of this hierarchy, the less choices you have. You know, I would say the more deterministic reality becomes for you. But at the end of it, basically the whole hierarchy is deterministic, pretty much, because, you know, Chads did not choose to be born Chads, and true selves did not choose to be born true selves, and all of this is basically just reality, the existence, the intersubjective reality that we're having, you know, between minds. All of this is basically like a movie that has been started by something that we do not know. Many philosophers and theologians say that they know the answer and blah 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 blah, and I personally think that the answer lies somewhere between the philosophers Spinoza and Leibniz, somewhere around there. I'm having sort of a personal conflict in deciding in what type of God to believe in, either Spinoza's God or Leibniz's God. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's sort of a personal dialectic that I'm having. But yeah, just enjoy this movie, Grotesque. You know, just try to enjoy this movie. You know, try to see the positives in all of this. You know, I know that life is a nightmare, and none of us choose any of this. And yeah, that's correct. None of us choose any of this. You know, life is like a movie. It is. It really is. From womb to tomb, it's like a movie that we're forced to watch. And you can either try to enjoy it, or you can bitch about it. You know, that's pretty much the only choice you have. You know, you either bitch about this movie that you're forced to watch, or you can try to enjoy it. You know, it's your quote unquote choice, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, to me personally, I like to view this as a nightmare, because I'm just a pessimist, because you know, I like the philosophy of pessimism, because you know, when you see stuff in the darkest way possible, and you say to yourself that yeah, this is a nightmare for some odd fucking reason, the more you enjoy it. You know, I know maybe that some people do not experience that, but I love it. You know, I love the fact that none of this matters. That essentially all of humankind is just, you know, watched from above. We are like some sort of bacteria on this fucking earth, and you know, one asteroid and all of this is gone. You know, it's like yeah. That doesn't mean that there is no plan behind it. Maybe there is a reason behind all of this, but as far as the empirical sciences have shown us, there's no reason to any of this, you know. So I think that it's better to embrace nihilism and just come to terms with that this is all just a movie that you have no control over, that you have no control over. So yeah, whether that helps you or not, I don't know, but I just don't see any other any other way to help you. I mean, why should you, like, why the fuck should you blame yourself for any of this, for the situation that you are in? There's no reason whatsoever. Absolutely no fucking reason. And I know that a lot of people are gonna disagree with this and come with their quantum coping bullshit, but let them do that. But you know, I've done enough introspection and scientific research to realize myself, to come to the realization that yeah, this is a deterministic nightmare that we have no control over, and the only choice you have is just try to enjoy it to the best of your ability, and just try to make the best of it, you know. So yeah, yeah, that's all I had to say, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I know that this video was a disaster. I'm not gonna edit it because I don't give a fuck. You either like this video or you don't. So yeah, but I hope at least some of you enjoyed this video. So yeah, thanks for watching.